Aguirre is equally skeptical, giving them the bare minimum instructions, emphasizing the solitary nature of the work and warning them about keeping fires hidden from the Forest Service. He hands them their grocery list, and then the pair, now christened as a work team, make their way outside into the bright morning light. As they're walking, Ennis, seemingly a little more experienced, takes the time to casually warn Jack about Aguirre's potential to be overly strict and critical out on Brokeback. Now, a little closer, the tension starts to ease between them in those quiet moments as they walk together toward their equipment and the promise of work ahead. Aguirre's words are still fresh in their minds, but now they are turning their focus from the office back to the mountain. A montage shows us Ennis and Jack making their way to the mountain. The landscape gradually shifts, starting with Ennis's quiet, thoughtful ride on horseback, then transitioning to lush meadows and mountain streams as they approach Brokeback. They reach a base camp of sorts where they meet the shepherd, a quiet and weather-beaten figure who, speaking no English, simply motions with his hand, indicating they should set out. Ennis and Jack lead the sheep toward higher elevations. Days melt into weeks. They set up a camp further up Brokeback and begin a routine of pasturing the sheep in the rugged and beautiful landscape. During this time, we see the two trading stories and jokes as they prepare a meager dinner over a campfire after wrangling a straggling sheep. Lorene has given Jack some hand-me-down sleeping rolls, so they find themselves in close quarters inside the small tent. During his night watch over the sheep, Ennis comes across a bear that's attacking the flock. He returns to camp to tell Jack what he saw, and, in an uncharacteristic display of concern, heads back to protect his animals. Jack, witnessing the sheep safe, shoots and kills the animal. Afterward, in what now begins to seem almost routine, the two hoot and holler after their successful teamwork, and Ennis ends up accidentally getting some of the bear blood on him. That night, the alcohol flows freely, and as they drink, Ennis speaks a bit more intimately and with a degree of admiration for Jack and their experience together. Jack is always ready to make a joke, but this comment catches his ear, and the two share a longer look. Ennis kisses Jack, and the night fades to morning. Ennis awakes shirtless, with Jack spooning him in the tent. As Ennis dresses, Jack kisses him lightly, then playfully tries to grab his hat before Ennis playfully wrestles him back. They emerge from the tent and a fight breaks out, but quickly turns into a passionate embrace, with the men fully kissing before Aguirre appears in the distance. Later, from a ridge, Aguirre spots them wrestling each other again. Back in town, the two are still working side by side, but after Jack mentions that Lorene is pregnant, they're met with the stark reality that they will be separated soon enough. The days remaining on Brokeback become more precious and filled with tension. Days blur, and quickly their end date approaches. On their last night up on Brokeback, the pair pack up their meager supplies. As Ennis is chopping wood, Jack observes him quietly, knowing this is a defining moment for them, but unsure how to convey it. Ennis looks at him with a haunted expression that's trying to convey something far more, but he turns away, knowing he can't say it. He walks further down to the tent and sits down, a shadow covering his face. The next morning, the two pack up their supplies, looking longingly at the view that was once home. When Jack and Ennis return to Aguirre's office, the tone is cold and final, as he simply hands over their paychecks without looking up. The pair receive the money and leave back into the real world. Some time passes, and we see Ennis getting married to Alma, with her family and friends gathered around. Though this should be one of the happiest days of his life, Ennis appears distant and even troubled. Their wedding is a simple affair. The ceremony is short, and the reception seems filled with a sense of inevitability. Jack isn't there. As the couple dance during their reception, we learn Alma is aware that Ennis is not completely present. They're in a small apartment now, and Alma says that they should get a TV to fill the silence. During a card game with friends, a vulgar joke is made about the nature of their work on Brokeback, and Ennis's reaction is intense. He is clearly haunted by his time there and his feelings for Jack. In a flashback, we see Ennis and Jack embracing again inside the tent with a desperate intensity, and they are not discovered, but Aguirre is watching them through binoculars from a distance in the hills. Back in the present, Jack makes a trip out to Riverton, Wyoming, ostensibly to see his folks who are running a hardware store, but what is he really looking for? Days stretch on into winter. A letter arrives in the mail. Ennis is inside, still working, and we follow the mail slot view as it passes to him. The letter informs Ennis that Jack will be arriving for a visit sometime in the middle of August. Alma seems happy for Ennis, although the moment is laced with more tension that is hard to bear. But when Jack shows up at Ennis's place, there is an obvious distance between them. With August rapidly approaching, Ennis prepares for Jack's visit with a mix of anticipation and dread. Jack arrives in the middle of August, though their initial reunion carries an odd tension. After an awkward greeting, Jack settles into the small space. The air is thick with unspoken words and the weight of years spent apart. They attempt to reconnect, but the years of suppressed feelings create an obvious divide. They sit down and light cigarettes and attempt conversation. Jack reflects on what could have been, while Ennis grapples with the reality of their situation. It is revealed that Jack has been living with another man in Texas, but the relationship is strained and unfulfilling. He asks Ennis to leave Alma and start a life with him, but Ennis refuses, citing his children as his primary responsibility. Ennis's internal conflict intensifies after Jack's visit. Alma seems to notice the heavy-heartedness, and the weight of the situation seems to get to her. We see Alma on her way to work as Jack and Ennis head out to Brokeback. It's then that she sees them kissing passionately. It was Enya when the looked as a Beck. The job of the increases were of wealth. Alma struggles to maintain a facade of normalcy, but the revelation has irrevocably changed their dynamic. The emotional distance between them grows, and she begins to question the foundations of their marriage. Ennis, in turn, becomes more withdrawn and haunted, wrestling with the impossible choice between his family and his desire for Jack. As the marriage crumbles in front of their daughter, Francine, the divorce settlement is finalized in 1975, and Alma is granted custody of the two girls, Alma Jr. and Jenny, and the reality sets in that Jack and Ennis's world is changing once again. The two men drink in silence as they sit by the fire before cutting to the next day where they are packing up to leave. Ennis, still distraught from their exchange, is taken by surprise when Jack informs him it's been far too long since they last saw one another and he cannot wait until November. Ennis pushes back and tells Jack that they have to see things through, which is just not what Jack wants to hear. As Jack gets ready to leave, Ennis pushes, inquiring into whether Jack has ever been with another man and if that's a problem for him. Jack retorts, saying that of course there have been others, but none of them have ever been so important. Ennis pushes once again and then is finally met with Jack's frustration. As he gets into his truck, Jack stops and then delivers the line, "I wish I knew how to quit you," a sentiment that captures the impossible frustration of their circumstance. When Ennis asks if he can tell Jack something, he says, "Not on your life," and leaves. Following their exchange and Jack's departure, Ennis drives into town to see Alma, who is working but has no words to share, before then taking his truck to Riverton, Wyoming, to the home of Jack's parents. Speaking with Jack's mother, she shares that though the headstone is paid and Jack wanted his ashes spread over the mountain, she can't bring herself to do it, but that Ennis can. When his father gets involved, he says Jack was never planning on being buried at their family plot, since his passing doesn't meet the stringent criteria they have for their family plot. Ennis offers his condolences, but can tell this is a delicate subject for the father, who goes back to his room. As they get ready to leave, Jack's mother asks if Ennis can look at Jack's room and see if there is anything he would want to take. Climbing up the stairs, she explains how his room has been kept exactly the same, and as Ennis enters, it is easy to see with his bed the same way he left it. In the room, he walks over to Jack's closet before pulling down one of Jack's shirts and embraces it. After taking the shirt, Jack's mother gives Ennis Jack's shirts, who proceeds to make his way home. As Ennis packs up his trailer, he pulls out a photo from under his mirror. It's the photo of him and Jack in their younger years. As he goes to button up his shirt, he opens his closet and pulls out the shirts that Jack's mother gave him. Hanging up the shirts and placing his own behind them, we can see they are nestled together, offering each other solace. Ennis remarks, "Jack, I swear." As he zips up his jacket, he stares at the photo with tears in his eyes and then softly affirms to himself what can never be. Jack, I swear. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.